You have any question? Okay, please, can you speak through the microphone? So,
Thank you. I have 3 questions.
can you please speak close to the microphone?
I'm sorry if because I don't know really well Buddhism philosophy, but I'm sorry if my questions seems to you stupid.
No, nothing is stupid.
Okay. The first question is how it's possible to renounce of any desire if these desires can be becoming better or evolving myself in order to help others, or desire of improving my meditation or improving myself. These are all desires.
These desires can be divided into 2 groups: good desire and bad desire. Good desire, we can encourage it to continue. Bad desire, we should try to eliminate.
Only the bad desires.
Yes.
Okay.
Keep the good desire. The desire to meditate, the desire to give money to charity, the desire to be a good person. These are good desire. You can keep them.
Not all desires.
Not all desire.
Okay.
Just the bad desire we call defilement.
Defilement, yes.
Okay.
For Buddhism, I don't know if there is a God or creator, or how is the world was created and why.
We are not interested in these questions because it doesn't has anything to do with us. See, Buddhism is more concerned about what happens to us, and what happens to us is our own action. We feel good or bad, it's due to our karma, what we do. So this is our concern. We're not concerned about who built the world or where the world came from.
Don't interesting in.
Right, it has no bearing on us. It doesn't change anything with us.
Doesn't change. Yes,
Yeah.
it's true.
So what changes is our karma. If we do good karma, it makes us good, makes us happy. If we do bad karma, it makes us bad, it makes us unhappy. So this is what we are more concerned with, is our karma. The Buddha teaches us to stop doing bad karma and develop good karma.
And the last question is, during meditation, Buddhist meditation, your intention is only concentrate on your breath or some sensations, or after you change your consciousness and you detach from your sensations, or is always a concentration of all your senses?
Yes. What do you want to know? What happened in meditation? What is the purpose of meditation?
For concentrating the mind.
The reason why you want to concentrate is to stop your mind from thinking.
From thinking.
Yeah,
Control of
your thoughts. Stop your thoughts, because your thought, most of them is bad for you. When you think, you usually generate bad emotion, make you feel unhappy, make you feel sad, make you feel restless and agitated. So if you concentrate your mind on something like your breath, then you will not be able to generate these bad emotions.
And during your meditation practice, during all your practice, you only concentrate your mind and focus on one point.
That's right.
This is the goal of meditation.
This is the path to the goal. You have to have the path. The path is to concentrate your mind on one object to stop you from thinking. And when you could stop thinking, then your mind will become peaceful and happy. That's the goal, to make yourself happy without having to spend any money on anything. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Send the microphone.
My friend come from Spain. He cannot speak English. I will make the question for
Okay,
him.
yes.
He want to know if we are not aware of our past life or our future life. Why is it so important what we do in this life if we're not going to know in the future what we have done?
We know what will happen to us in the future from what we do today. But you don't know what form it will take. But you know that if you do good karma, your mind will always be happy. If you do bad karma, your mind will always be unhappy. You can be born as an American, as a Thai, as a Spanish. Doesn't matter. Your mind will be happy or not happy, not because of your birth, but because of your karma. That's why you have happy people everywhere and unhappy people everywhere. Doesn't matter what nationality you are. So you know your future can be good or bad through your good or bad karma. Is that clear? Is that all? Okay, can you send the microphone back? What can I do for you? Can you speak to the man?
Now, can I Q&A?
Yeah, okay.
Thank you very much. First question is when mind is composed,
Yes.
then after how can observe and how can investigate to the five aggregate?
When the mind is composed, you don't do anything.
Actually, I do before Mahasi method and Xiaomi method, the Vipassana method.
Yeah.
So I do that method.
Method.
Method, yeah.
Okay. See, when you compose your mind, you want to make it calm and happy.
Yeah.
When the mind becomes calm and happy, you try to maintain it for as long as possible. You don't do any contemplation or any investigation yet. You wait until the mind withdraw from that composed state and come back to the normal state like now, like you are now. Then you can then investigate or contemplate on the body or the feeling or the mental objects. You don't do it while the mind is composed. When you compose the mind, you want to building up strength for the mind. You want to have mental strength first, because in order to study the body or the feelings or the mental objects, you have to have a composed and strong mind. If your mind is not yet composed, you will not be able to study the body, the feeling, the mental states for a long time. So it's two different sections of practice. The first section, you want to develop calm, samadhi, makes the mind become strong. Samadhi gives the mind the strength to study anything that you want to study. If your mind is not strong, your mind will not be able to concentrate on the study. So you first need to compose the mind to make the mind strong. once the mind is strong enough, then you can then tell the mind to study the nature of the body, the nature of feelings, the nature of the mental mental objects.
When see the five aggregate, then no need any one, the part, the anchor to the any part of the one aggregate. Any just open and see the whatever is arise and disappear.
It depends on when you study. You can do it two ways: do it live, or do it as a what you call as a not life, not happening now. See, the things are happening now and things are not happening now, such as your body. Right now, if you look at your body, you might not see anything that you need to study, because right now the body is not old, it's not sick, or it's not dying. So you cannot really study the body life at this time. The only thing you can study life about the body is the composition of the body, what the body is made up of. The body has 32 parts. So you can study the 32 parts of the body by go through the 32 parts: the hair of the head, the hair of the body, the nail, teeth, skin, flesh, sinew, heart, lungs, and liver, kidneys, intestines, the brain. These are the things you can contemplate or study, so that you can see the body in a complete picture, not just what we see now. When we look at the body, we only see just the 5 parts. We see the hair, the skin, we see the tail, the teeth, the nails. That's about all. So we can become deceived by what we see, because what we see tend to look attractive. When you see people, you see their hair, you see their skin, their facial feature. You can become deceived by their attractiveness. You look at a person of the opposite sex, you can become attracted to them, and then you can have desire toward them. So this is what we want to stop. We don't want to be attracted by other people's body, because once you become attracted, your mind becomes like a slave to that person. You have to have that person to make you happy. But if you study the rest of the body, all the other parts of the body that you cannot see with your eyes, but you can imagine in your mind, like the parts under the skin, like the skeleton, the skull, the heart, the lungs, the intestines, kidney. These are the parts that once you look at, once you can see, then you can lose the attraction toward that person's body. Then you don't have to have any desire toward that body. Then your mind can be alone and don't feel lonely. See, but if you are attracted to another person's body, then you feel you have to that body. You need to be near that body in order to make you happy. And when you are not with that body, then you can become sad and lonely. So this is the reason why we have to study the nature of the body, so that we can cut off our attraction toward the body of other people. So this is, you can do this as studying the nature of the body. And there are other things that you have to study also, but it's not happening now. Such as the body will get old, will get sick, and will die. You can do this as a homework. Prepare yourself, teach yourself that eventually you're gonna have to have a body that is old, have a body that is sick, have a body that is dying. So if you study, and you'll find that if you are still attached to this body, you will be sad when you think of the body getting old, getting sick or die. And you'll find that the reason for your sadness is because of your desire toward the body. You don't want your body to get old, get sick or die. But the truth of the body is you cannot prevent it from getting old, getting sick or die. So if you don't want to become sad with aging, sickness and death, then you have to stop your desire toward your body. You have to stop your desire not to have the body get old, get sick or die. You will have to accept that the body is gonna get old, get sick and die. If you can accept this, then your mind will not be sad when the body get old, get sick or die. So this is something you can study and teach your mind to change your attitude toward your body and other people's body. Right now, our attitude toward our body and other people is different from the truth. Our attitude toward the body is we like it to be permanent. We like it to be under our control. But the body sometimes can be under our control, and sometimes it will not be under our control. The body cannot be permanent. Sooner or later the body will have to die, we have to get sick. So if you teach your mind then can change the attitude toward the body. Instead of clinging and desiring the body to be strong, to be healthy, to be permanent, you will change your attitude. You will say, this body is going to get old, get sick and die, and there's nothing I can do about it. Once you can do this, then you can stop your mind from desiring. Once you have no desire toward the body, then you will not become affected by what happens to the body. So this is the studying the nature of the body. You can do this when you are not meditating. Right now you can do it, but you cannot do it long because you don't like to think about this thing. Your mind wants to think about other things more. So you need, if your mind don't want to think or study the nature of the body, then you have to compose your mind again to regain your strength. Once your mind becomes composed, and after the mind withdraw from that state of composed, then you can direct the mind to study the nature of the body again, to constantly remind you of the true nature of the body, until your mind become not forgetful of this nature. Right now we tend to be forgetful of the true nature of the body. We only see the body partially. We only see the attractive part of the body, but we hardly see the unattractive part of the body. And we tend to see the body as something lasting, that is going to go on like this all the time, never get old, never get sick, or never die. But the truth is slowly getting older every day, and sooner or later you'll get sick, and sooner or later you might die. So this is what you have to teach your mind about the nature of the body, so that you can then change your attitude toward your body, change your view toward your body. That we tend to have the opposite view of the true nature of the body. The body is impermanent, but we tend to think it as permanent. The body is getting old, and we never think that it's going to get old. The body will get sick, and we never thought that it can get sick. The body will die, and we never thought that it will die. So this is what makes us unhappy when we face the truth. When the truth happens, when the body get old, we're not happy. When the body get sick, we're not happy. When the body has to die, we're not happy. But if you keep studying this nature of the body and remind yourself this is the way the body will be, then when the body becomes old or sick or die, you will not be hurt. Because you accept the truth. This is what the purpose of studying the body, body contemplation. Okay?
Yes.
When you in order to do this, you have to do it many times, many days, until it becomes embedded in your mind. You constantly see this truth. Every time you look at your body or other people's body, you see the 32 part, you see aging, sickness, and death. And then you then have to let go of your desire or your attachment to this body. Once you have let go, then you know that you are free from sadness. You will not be afraid of getting old, getting sick, or die. You will have no attraction toward other people's body. Okay?
Yeah, thank you very much. And other one question is, before become a monk and when become a monk, that and what is the important for the?
Well, the importance of becoming a monk is you will have all the time to practice. If you're not a monk, you have to go to work to earn a living. So the time to spend on practice is it's not enough, let's put it that way. You need full-time practice in order to be able to change your mind, to switch your attitude. You need full time to teach your mind to stop your desire. But if you're not a monk, you won't have the time to do it. You will have to go work to earn a living. So while you're working, you will not be able to contemplate on the nature of the body. Then you forget. When you don't contemplate, you can forget easily. And then you'll become attached to your body, become attached to other people's body. So that's the difference of becoming a monk or not becoming a monk. If you're becoming a monk, you don't have to work because you're supported by other people. Then you can have all the time to practice meditation and contemplation. Then you will be able to let go of your attachment to your body and everything else. When you see that they are impermanent, that they can make you unhappy if you become attached to them.
And how about some monasteries? I think monk's life is very busy, like a full days. Is right?
This is because they have different instructions.
Oh.
If you go to some monastery where they teach you to build temples, then you keep building temples.
Oh.
If you go to a monastery that teach you to meditate,
Oh.
then you meditate.
Oh.
So unfortunately, the temples or monasteries have different traditions.
Oh.
So if you go to a monastery or temple that has that tradition, then you have to comply with that tradition. So if you want to meditate, you have to go look for a monastery that teach meditation. If you want good living, you go to a temple or monastery that let you have good living. This happened because people who became monks, some study the teaching of the Buddha and follow his teaching. Some don't study and don't follow his teaching. So they go different from what the Buddha teaches. The Buddha teaches us to meditate, to let go of our attachment to possession, to people and things. But if you don't study his teaching, you might think that becoming a monk is to enrich yourself with the physical comfort of life that you might see in some temples or monasteries. So if you want to become a monk, then you first have to ask yourself, what is the purpose of becoming a monk? What do you want to do? If you want to meditate, you have to go look for a temple or a monastery that concentrate on meditation. If you want to do chanting and funeral and do all sort of rituals, then you go to the temples that teaches you to do this thing. Okay?
Yeah, thank you very much. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay. You have any question? Any more question?
I have two questions. First one is, I heard about the Arahant is never have a dream.
Yes, yeah, Arahant can still dream.
Arahant can dream?
Yeah.
Ah.
But only good dreams, no bad dreams.
Ah. And another one is Sotapanna.
Yes.
When he reborn in 7 life. This 7 life
never below a human being.
And never
go to an animal or go to hell, anything like that.
Never broken the 5 sila also?
Yeah, never break the 5 precepts.
Even they are child or whatever?
Yeah.
If somebody wants to become a monk, how do they know what is the correct time to do so?
It's like when you want to get married, you know when to get married. So if you don't know, that means it's still not the time for you to become a monk. When the time for you to become a monk, you will know that this is what you want to do.
So you don't need to think about it, you will know in your heart.
It depends. If you want to become a monk, and if you don't feel like becoming a monk now, then you have to ask, what do you need to become a monk? What you need to become a monk is, you need inspiration. And the best inspiration is the advance in your practice. If you can advance in your meditation practice, then you will know that you want to become a monk. Because you want to meditate more. And in order to advance more in your meditation, you need more time to practice. And you know, if you have to work, then you won't have the time to advance in your meditation. Then you would want to stop working, and then you would want to prepare yourself to become a monk. First, you might have to go look for the right monastery for you. Like you said, there are many kinds of monasteries. If you go to the wrong monastery, you might not be able to meditate. So you have to look for the kind of monastery that suit to what you want. If you want to meditate, then you have to look for a monastery that encourage meditation and nothing else.
Thank you, Ajahn.
Okay. So you have to try to keep studying the Buddha's teaching and keep practicing. This will then give you the inspiration, because when you study and when you practice, you will realize realize the fruit of your practice. Then you know how good it is. Then you would like to have more of it. In order to have more of it, you have to have more time for your practice. Then you will know then that you want to become a monk. Okay. Okay. Can you bring the microphone here, please? So I'll let you speak through the microphone if you want to. Behind you.
Thank you,ครับ
Can you speak close to the microphone? Yeah.
Yes, been a while,ครับ since you last came.
Uh-huh.
And as I was saying, my brother-in-law and Wendy, my wife at the end, Nan from Singapore.
Okay.
She's Thai, but lived in Singapore for quite a long while.
Okay.
And my sister, Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll start with asking a question, Lapo. These days, in Singapore especially, a lot of people encounter this problem of dementia.
Yes.
And for people who practice and then all of a sudden you find that you hit with dementia and you cannot remember anything, what will happen to them at the point when they die in that case?
Well, see, dementia, I think part of it is physical, not mental. And even Arahant can forget. Yeah. But there are things that Arahant don't forget. What the Arahant don't forget are the Four Noble Truths. The wisdom part, the Arahant never forget. The three characteristics, they know all the time. But they might forget names and places, people, what they just did just now. Sometimes the mind somehow cannot retain this information. So this could happen, but the mind will still be lucid and clear and always comprehending, still always mindful, still always in the present. So he can still perform things, not like a person who has no mindfulness. See, dementia, when it happens to people who has no mindfulness, they're like a drunk person. They don't know what they're doing because the mind is not here. The mind is just go wherever it wants to go.
So for people who...
So if you practice mindfulness, the possibility of not being without any ability to look after yourself will not happen. You will always be able to look after yourself.
Yeah, because one of the advice, or a lot of the Ajahns, they advise us that your last moments are very important. And one of the fear that we have is, what happens if you have dementia and at your last moments your mind
your last moment, your karma will kick in automatically. And this karma depends on how much you have developed. See? So if you have developed more good karmas than bad karmas, then regardless of whatever happens to the body, at the last moment the karma will kick in automatically. If you have more good karmas than bad karma, then the good karma will take over your mind. If you have more bad karmas than good karma, When you die, your bad karma will take over your mind, and will send you to different section of the heavenly realm, the spiritual realm. If the good karma takes the mind, it will take you to the heavenly realm. If the bad karma takes your mind, take over your mind, it will take you to hell, to abide. So this is automatic. You cannot just come and tell yourself the last moment what you want. You cannot.
Yes.
You can do now. You can plan ahead for the future. It's like financial planning. You want to be in the red or you want to be in the black. It depends on how you manage your income and your expense. That's all.
So similarly, it's like a lot of us say that yes, we prepare now, and then in future things will take care of themselves.
That's right.
Okay. Now my sister and brother-in-law, they are new to Dhamma practice, so it'd be good if Thanachan can at least give them some pointers on right view, especially because I think it starts with right view.
Yeah. Well, it's about what I said today. The Buddha said the most important thing in our life is our mind, because it's the mind who creates happiness and sadness. Right now we don't know how to create happiness. We know how to create sadness. So we have to study from the Buddha, the Dhamma, or the Sangha. Then he'll tell us how to create happiness, real happiness. Right now what we create are false happiness, temporary happiness, which will always end up in sadness. Because all the happiness that we can accumulate or find in this world is temporary. When they disappear, they leave us empty, they leave us sad. So this is what we should not try to look for. Don't look for the worldly happiness. Happiness to having money, having status, having accolades, or having fun with what you see or you hear, going shopping, going on holidays. These are all false happiness, because they leave you empty when they're gone. You come here, you enjoy yourself. When you go back to Singapore, all this enjoyment disappear. You go back to the same old problem. So this is what you should try to avoid, and try to develop a new kind of happiness, the real kind of happiness, the happiness that arises from practicing dana, keeping the precepts, and meditation, samatha and vipassana. If you can do this, you are generating the real happiness, because this kind of happiness remain in your mind. They don't disappear, because they don't rely on anything physical. It's all mental or spiritual. Okay, so this is basically what Buddhism is about. It's training the mind to find the right kind of happiness. Right now the mind is deluded, so it looks for the false or the fake happiness, and they end up disappointed and sad when this happiness disappears.
Thank you.
Okay. Any question?
Chan, I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
If a family member does not practice a right way of life, maybe they indulge in certain bad aspect, like maybe gambling, drinking, and all that. And let's say if a parent were to do that, and as a child, as a daughter, I cannot sway her to live a better life or a proper life. Does that mean that as a daughter I fail in my duty?
No, As a daughter, you have no duty in teaching your parents, or for that fact, anybody. The only duty you have is to teach yourself. Because others, you can only teach them if they want to be your student. If they don't want to be your student, you cannot teach them. So it's not your duty to teach anybody. Your only duty is to teach yourself. Your duty toward your parents is to look after their physical needs. If they're old, they cannot help themselves, then you have to look after them. You have to feed them, clothe them, and take care of them physically. This is your duty. But as far as teaching them to change their way of life, this is not your duty. But if they happen to know that you have a happy way of life and they want to learn from you, then you can tell them how to do it.
But knowing that if she continues this way, she will not be reborn in a better realm. I mean, that's what I think. And I feel very sorry for her. Is there anything else I can do?
Well, you can try to bring the Dhamma to her by just maybe leaving Dhamma books in the house, or turning on Dhamma talks, and she might find it interesting and then might want to read or listen or watch the Dhamma talks on YouTube. This is the only thing you can do, is trying to surround her with Dhamma. But you cannot force feed her. She has to pick it up and eat it herself. But if there's no Dhamma around, then she won't be able to take any Dhamma in. So the best thing you can do is to surround her with Dhamma. Or maybe sometime take her to a temple. If there's a teacher who can teach Dhamma and can inspire people, take her along when you go. Ask her to accompany you maybe. Because maybe she doesn't want to go for herself, but she might go for you because you need somebody to accompany you. So this is something you can do. Try to surround her with Dhamma, or try to take her closer to the Dhamma. But if once she is there and she's not interested, then there's nothing you can do.
Okay. Another question. For people who do not know as much Dhamma in terms of understanding from books and all that, do not know how to chant as much as people who know how to chant, but if one practiced the Noble Eightfold Path, making sure that our life is, we conduct our life properly, will there be a chance for this person to be reborn in a better realm, like maybe the Deva realm?
Yes, if you can keep the 5 precepts and be charitable, share your wealth, give your money or possession for the benefit of other people, you can go to a heavenly realm. See, if you can keep the 5 precepts, this will prevent you from falling into the lower realms of existence. But you cannot go higher unless you do charity. If you just keep the 5 precepts, the best you can do is to be reborn as human. But if you, besides from keeping the 5 precepts, you also do charity, share your money, helping other people, then you can elevate your mind to a higher realm of existence. And if you want to go higher, then you have to meditate, practice meditation, and study the Dhamma. Then your mind will be elevated to the highest level, which is that of a Buddha or an Arahant.
Thank you.
Lord Paul can give us some pointers on balancing samadhi and vipassana.
Yes, actually it's not balancing. When you first start, you have to develop samadhi first before you can go to the vipassana level. Once you're in the vipassana level, then you have to balance, because your mind needs resting. See, samadhi is the resting place for the mind, while vipassana is the working place. Like you have to travel between your office and your home. You go home to eat, to sleep, to rest. Once you have rested, you get up in the morning, you refresh, you re-strengthen, then you go back to the office to work. This is the same way once you're on the vipassana level. But if you haven't yet got samadhi, you cannot go up to the vipassana level because your mind doesn't have the strength to develop vipassana. In order to develop vipassana, you have to have a calm and clear mind. If your mind is still cloudy with delusion, with hate, with greed, your mind will just be thinking about greed and hate. So you will not be able to direct your mind to study the true nature of things. So that's why the first thing you have to develop first is appana samadhi. In order to have appana samadhi, you need to develop constant mindfulness, continuous mindfulness. So this is the step in developing. First you have to develop continuous mindfulness, because with continuous mindfulness you can then bring your mind into appana samadhi. Once you have appana samadhi and you're capable to enter appana samadhi all the time, then after you withdraw, then you can go and start working on vipassana. It's like you, before you can go to work, you have to have a house to stay, you have to have food, you have to have the strength, the physical strength to go do your work. If you are homeless, you have no place to stay, no food to eat, how can you go to work?
Yes.
Right now, most of our mind is like a homeless person. We have no home, we have no food. The mental home and mental food is samadhi. See? And the money to buy the mental home and mental food is mindfulness. So you need to raise some money first, in order so you can buy a home, you can buy food. Once you have home and food, then you can have the strength to go and do work. So this is the process. When you first started, you have to go step by step. But once you get to the vipassana level, then you have to come back to samadhi, because after you contemplate or study the nature of things, after a while your mind can get tired. So once it gets tired, it will not be efficient. So you have to stop and then come back and rest in samadhi. After you have rested, when you withdraw, then you come out, then you can continue on with your contemplation or on your study.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
You want to come?
Go ahead. Yeah. Once in a long time you can come here.
ท่านอาจารย์ this is a meditation question. Now, normally when we try to attain samadhi, we develop a certain level of concentration. Now, I find that when I develop up to a certain level of concentration and my mind was very calm, all the other thoughts start coming in. And then at that point, I have to start going back to my breath, going back to Putto. So it feels like I have to start all over again.
Yes, because your concentration has weakened, so you have to re-strengthen your concentration by focusing on your breath or repeating Bhutto, Bhutto. This is the way to develop concentration in your mind, to prevent your mind from scattering to other thoughts. See? So you have to force it to stay on one object, such as a mantra or watching your breath. If you can continue on concentrating on your mantra, on your breath, then your mind will become calm again. So this is the process. You have to keep going back and forth. Your mind become calm for a while, then start to think again. Then you have to start concentrating again. Just keep doing this until eventually the mind will become fully calm.
So what you're saying is that I should try to stretch this period, the calmness, for as long as I can.
Yes, you want to do it until it becomes all day long. As soon as you're not calm, you have to meditate. When you first come out for meditation, your mind can be calm for a while. Then after a while, you start thinking and you have emotions. Then your mind become restless again. Then you have to go back and meditate again.
So it is normal that when the mind is very calm, all these thoughts will start coming in. Is that
That's
very
right.
normal?
That's the purpose of doing meditation, to stop all the thoughts from coming in. Then to make your mind become neutral, ubekkha. When the mind becomes calm, the mind will have no emotion, no love, no hate, no fear, no delusion in the mind, temporarily.
Thank you. Anybody wants?
Is that all for you? Okay. If you want to read my books, you can go take a look over there on the other. Okay. Go ahead if you like. Have a pleasant journey home. Thank you. Okay. And a happy New Year. Yeah, Merry Christmas. Today is Christmas. Oh, yes.
From Busiana. Good afternoon,ท่านอาจารย์. I like to ask why after coming out from a long meditation retreat, I feel very demotivated to work. How to deal with it as I have to work for the time being. Thank you very much.
Because you find working is really not that important anymore. Because you have found another kind of happiness. The happiness that you have achieved from your meditation retreat makes your mind makes your mind content, not as desiring as before, not as ambitious as before. So you don't feel like going to work. Yeah. You would rather go back and meditate, because the result from your meditation gives you better happiness than the happiness you get from going working. So this is natural. If you keep meditation, eventually you want to quit working and you want to become a monk, because then you can meditate all the time.
Another question from Michael Burt. I feel that to think that Nibbana is better than samsara is that it is missing the point, as they are both just words and not the real truth, and that only practice will lead you there one way or the other, not thinking that one is better than the other.
Well, you have to know which is better before you can decide to buy which product. You have to know whether Samsung is better than Apple or Apple is better than Samsung. Once you know, then you can decide which one you want. It's the same way with Nibbana and Samsara. They are the opposite of each other. Samsara is the mind that continue on rebirth. Nibbana is the mind that stop rebirthing. So you have to decide which one is better for you. If you like rebirth is better, then you continue on with your samsara. If you think stop rebirth is better, then you choose Nibbana. So you have to know first which is which, so you can decide what you want. How are you? Where are you from?
Australia.
Australia. Which part? West or east?
South Australia.
South Australia. Melbourne?
Adelaide.
Adelaide. I see. Okay. Is there anything I can do for you?
No. I just came to hear what kind of message what kind of wisdom you can...
Teaching of the Buddha, teaching the truth of life, what makes us happy and what makes us sad. The Buddha said, what makes us happy is good karma. What makes us sad or feeling bad is bad karma. So he said we should do only good karma and abstain from doing bad karma. What are the bad karmas? Like killing, stealing, committing adultery, lying and drinking. These are bad karma.
So how come there are so many religions in the world? You've got Christianity, you've got Buddhism, you've got Islamic faith, you've got... How come there's so many? How come there's not just...
Because each religion has their own interpreter of life. Each religion interpret what life is. So each religion, they all teach us almost the same thing. Every religion teach you to do good karma and avoid abstaining from doing bad karma. Because this is the truth. This is what makes life good or bad, happy or sad. But we tend to ignore the teaching of religion because our delusion think the opposite. We think doing bad karma is good and doing good karma is bad. So people drink because they think they drink will make them happy. But it's a false sense of happiness. You only feel happy when you drink, but when you don't drink, you feel bad. See, so you become addicted to drinking, and eventually it will kill you if you drink too much. So this is the result from doing bad karma. But people don't want to think because they need the bad karma to make them feel good. But it's a brief sense of well-being, temporary sense of good or happiness. But then there's a host of bad things coming afterwards from doing bad karma.
So another question: is reincarnation? Do people reincarnate? Is reincarnation real, or is it just?
This is another truth that that we don't know. See, we look at ourselves as the body, and we think that once the body dies, then the body goes into the grave, go into a crematorium and turn into dust or ashes. So we don't see reincarnation in any way from looking at the body. See, but with people who do meditation, they discover that beside the body there is another part which is not the body, called the mind. The mind is the one who takes possession of the body. The mind is a spiritual being, spiritual part of us, which cannot be seen by the naked eye. You have to meditate to see these spiritual beings. Those people who meditate will be able to see these spiritual beings and know that this is the one that doesn't die with the body. It's the one that will go pick up a new body. The reason why this spiritual being will need to go pick up a new body is because it needs a new body to continue on bringing it happiness. We need the body to bring us happiness. We need the body to see, to hear, to feel, to touch.
So why can't that spirit just? Why is there need for that happiness? Why can't it just move on?
Because it's not. If it doesn't have anything, it's not happy. Like when you're locked up in jail, you're not happy because you cannot go play or go see, hear, or do things that you want to do. See.
But is there another level above that?
Yes.
Get above,
yes.
Beyond that?
Yes.
To have that level of happiness.
Yes, you can meditate. Once you can meditate, then you can enter into another level of happiness called spiritual happiness, which doesn't need the body. Once you have attained to this spiritual level, then you don't need to have a body, that you don't need to reborn. Once you die, you can exit as a spiritual being and be happy in that state of being. This is what Buddhism teaches us, to renunciate the physical pleasure, to renunciate the need to use the body as the medium for happiness, and come and develop the spiritual kind of happiness.
There's also certain lives, for instance, the Dalai Lama, when he dies, all that local village know that he'll come back, and then he'll come back.
This is partly true, not always true, because once you die, you cannot direct your mind to go and reborn in a certain place. The law of karma will take over, and the law of chances and opportunity will come over. So you cannot just decide that I was going to come back and be born as an Australian next life.
So is there such a thing as the devil? Does the devil exist?
Devil is people who do bad karma. When they die, we call them the devil, because the spirit, they're bad spirits. Yeah.
So they're bad spirits. So on one side you say there's God, or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Is there, like, everything's opposites? So is there an opposite?
Yes, good and bad spirits. See. But we don't call them God like in Christianity. in Buddhism we don't have a creator God. Everybody is the same, good or bad spirit.
So, getting back to where the world was created, at some point the world was created. So you say in Christianity, you say there was a force, some initial point, and that initial point was God, and God kind of spread out, and God's energy is everywhere.
This is just an interpretation of human interpretation of the phenomena we call the universe.
So in Buddhism, what is the starting point?
There's no starting point,
No starting point?
and it's not important to know because it has no bearings on our happiness or sadness. So we don't need to worry about them. But what we need to worry is our karma, what we do, what we think, what we say.
So when you look at certain events, say for instance World War II and the Holocaust, which was perpetrated by one very
Evil
person.
Evil mind.
So is that purely how did that work in terms of, was that like a terrible karma point and then all the bad energy came to that just to make it
Happen, yes.
Is
Because beside that one person with an evil mind, he needs the support of the other people with evil mind to accomplish what he wants to do, see. You have to have an election, so you have to sell your point. And people who think the same way that you think will elect you to become the leader.
So does that mean that at a certain point of time you have a magnet, you say, in 1930 or whatever it is, you say, look, we're going to have really bad event, so all the people with the bad karma all come together and they say, right, we're going to come back into life at that time. Is that what?
Well,
or do you think it just happens that one person comes along and then it's not preordained?
It's not preordained. Everything happened because of conditions. If the condition creates such a happening, it will happen.
So what I'm thinking, an analogy is like you have a candle. You have a candle there. If the candle is light in the middle of the night, all the bugs
come in. That's
so
right.
Rather than being a positive thing of a bright light, it's a negative thing of a dark light,
right.
And then all the...
It's the same way with the world. The reason why we have wars is because we don't have enough. So when we don't have enough, we tend to be more aggressive, more evil. If we have plenty, then we become more generous and we become more accommodating. See, so this is the condition of the world. Sometimes we don't have enough, then we have to struggle, to fight, to get what we want. But if we all have plenty, then we don't need to fight. See.
Another question, just being a bit of looking at the downside. You see the world, and the world is obviously got global warming coming across, and you see overpopulation. You see the world as being unsustainable. Does Buddhism have a view of that, or do they just say, look, people just continue on, or do they have to be proactive to try and... I mean, is we kind of like getting to an end point of the world where the world's going to stop and suddenly...
Yes. Buddhism look at things in two perspectives, the spiritual and the physical. They are in adverse proportion. If you are advanced in physical, you will go down in the spiritual level. Your mind, if you have more physical thing, you will tend to be more greedy. You want more and more.
And there's also the momentum effect, the fact
that you
have more and more, more greed encourages more and more greed.
Right.
So does that mean that we're on a downward slope?
That's right. Morally, we are on the downward slope. While physically, materialistically, we are on the upper. We're going up because we're getting more, we're producing more. But our mind tends to be less charitable, less kind, less nice, because we want to grab everything for ourselves. See.
So at what point is there a point of no return? So you say...
People will kill each other until nobody's, maybe it's just a small portion of good people will be left. People who run away and hide in the forest, in the caves, and live outside of the urban area.
Does it get to a point where the universe comes along and says enough is enough?
Well,
Then it suddenly
the
says,
universe itself has its own cycle. Universe will form and then will disappear and reform again. This is the physical part.
so is that what, does it get to the point where the universe says, right, the world's got to be cleansed, to restart, to rebirth it?
Yes. That's why you have the Big Bang thing. See, the Big Bang. Right now we are contracting universe. Everything will eventually be pulled together into a black hole, and then after that you have another Big Bang, and everything will scatter, and you have different stars and different planets again. This is how the physical universe works. Why the spiritual universe works is that the mind just keep on transforming from one life to the next. The mind is eternal. The mind is not destructible. See? But the mind either go up or down in morality. If the mind are on the upward slope, people live in peace and harmony. If the mind is on a downward slope, then people live in war, fighting, and hatred, and so forth. Okay, see?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So I have a question
Please go ahead.
about practice,
Yes.
and it's how to be skillful with sloth and torpor.
Sloth and torpor.
Yeah.
Sloth and torpor usually caused by your eating habit. If you eat a lot, you tend to be lazy and tend to be sleepy. So for meditator, the Buddha recommends that we should eat only until midday. Try to moderate on our food consumption. Eat as little as possible. Eat enough just to survive and not to enjoy. Don't try to enjoy. You have a better kind of enjoy from meditation. So you have to trade between the joy you get from eating to the joy that you will get from meditation. If you want to get the joy from meditation, then you have to give up the joy of eating. So you have to eat as little as possible.
Can I ask more about
Sure,
that?
go ahead. Anything you want to ask.
Is there other causes of sloth and torpor?
Well, if laziness, sometimes just your habit. You tend to, when you do something that you don't like or you don't enjoy, you tend to be not inspired, not enthusiastic. So maybe one way to make you inspired or enthusiastic is to study a lot about the benefit that you can get from your meditation. Then it can inspire you. Secondly, you can also think about your future, that life is not certain. We can fall sick or we can die anytime. So if we think of this thing, we might be spurred to drive ourselves to do the practice. When you think life is not certain, death can come at any time, sickness can come at any time. Once you fall sick or once you're about to die, you will not be able to practice. So you think in this manner, it can also inspire you, push you to do the practice. Besides that, there's also another method which may not be applicable to you. It's more for monks. Sometimes we're sleepy, we're lazy. Sometimes we go to meditate in the cemetery. Because when you're in the cemetery, you're afraid. So your mind, you can go to sleep. You become alert. Go and meditate in the forest. Some monk likes to sit in front of a cave, in front of a cliff. If he should fall asleep, then he would just fall down the cliff. So in this way, it will make him alert. So these are some of the methods that you can use to counter, to get rid of your sloth or torpor. Is that all?
That's all.
Okay.
Right.
Welcome to Thailand.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank all the teachings you give us every day, because although we may be on the other part of the world, we have the chance to learn and to go our way on the Dharma. As I told you before, we are very thankful and we appreciate every day all the teachings you give us. There's one question I'd like to make you, that it's not very important about our practice, that I think is the best or the most important part of it. Right now on the world, on earth, there are like 7,000 millions of people. Why there are so many incarnations in this time on earth?
Because there are many mind that wants to take birth as a human. There are lots of mind that is still waiting to take birth, but they cannot because there's no body producing babies. So sometimes they have to take birth as an animal. See, all the animals also have mind like human, but they cannot afford to be human yet because they had some bad karma, they had to pay. So they have to be born as animals. And there are also mind that are spiritual beings that doesn't have any body, physical body. So 7,000 million is still a very small number as compared to the numbers of mind that exist in this world, in this universe. There are many, countless of them. So this is not important question. The important question is how we solve our problem. We have problems that we have to solve. Our problem is we never are satisfied. We never have contentment. So this is what we have to solve. We can be content, we can be satisfied, if we know how to do it. And the only way to do it, the only person who knew it was the Buddha. And he was kind enough to teach us. So if we want to learn how to be happy, content, we have to study his teaching and then apply his teaching in our life, whatever we do, in our action. If we can do that, we will be able to find contentment and peace and happiness. Then we would not have to take any rebirth. But very few amount of mind that can achieve this goal, very few, as compared to the number of the mind that have in this entire world. Very few mind that can achieve this status, being a pure one who has no defilement, one who has no need to take rebirth. But you can be one of them if you try, if you trust the Buddha's teaching and apply it into your practice. One day,
and your teachings.
Same teaching, I studied from him. Then nobody knows this teaching. It's only the Buddha who had discovered this truth. And then he passed on to other people, and other people keep passing on until it comes to us. And we will continue on passing it to other people. Okay? No questions?
I only have this Spanish book of your teachings.
I see.
I'd like
that you
to
translate.
give-
You want to give it to me?
Yes.
Okay. You can give me later on, before you leave. You have question? Please talk through the microphone. We'll hand you the microphone.
Thank you. So today was my first time watching the alms food walking to receive it. And my question is, it was very beautiful to watch this, and the thing that was most beautiful, I think, was on the part of the people who were giving the alms food, rather than the monks receiving it. This is just my interpretation.
Yeah.
And further, from my understanding, the food that monks eat should be food that is simply to maintain the body, and it seemed that there's just an abundance of food, and so the monks can pick and choose from the best, and the people want to give you the best food. So I'm just wondering your thoughts on this.
What do you want to know?
Is this... It just seems like, from everything that I've heard, it kind of goes against the grain of the teachings of the food, of alms food. Yeah.
That's because of your interpretation.
Right.
Because in reality, alms can be of different quality, different quantity. It depends on the circumstances. If you go to what you call a place where there's not plenty of food, then you'll see a different type of activities. See? But if you go to a place where there's abundance of food, abundance of giver, then you get this kind of things. But for a monk, he knows he can only eat so much. And the purpose of his eating is to maintain life, just as you say. So each monk has to fight with his own devil, let's put it devil. Whether he wants to eat to maintain his body, or he wants to eat to enjoy, which will be in contradiction to the teaching of the Buddha. So this is the practice that monks have to do. Sometimes if a monk finds this place is too tempting, too much food, too much good food, then they might have to go to another place where there isn't much good food, so that they can be spared the temptation. If you go to a rural area, especially if you live in forest monasteries that are far away from the towns and cities, you go to the villages, then you get another type of alms round. Then the food will be just barely enough to exist, really. So this depends on where you are and what you want. When you go to a monastery, when you want to practice meditation, there are several factors you have to look for. First, a teacher, a good teacher. Second, you need a quiet environment. Third, you have food that is adequate, and maybe not too much, not too little, enough to provide you with sustenance for your body and spare you the temptation. But sometimes you cannot have all these factors together. Sometimes you go live with a good teacher, he tends to have a lot of followers, and a lot of followers want to give food, good food to them. But if you don't want good food, you might not find a good teacher, because when he's not a good teacher, no one wants to support him. So it comes down to yourself, really. As far as food is concerned, you can still eat just for existence. Just don't take anything. Just rice. Just take rice and some vegetable or something. You can do this yourself, see, but you cannot tell people what to give you or not to give you. So this is the thing you have to decide what you want.
Thank you. I don't want to take up more time, but just the first part of what I was asking, I guess I wanted maybe a brief explanation of when you go to ask for food, isn't this meant to be kind of a humbling act on the part of the monk?
Yes, it's also a humbling part on the part of the lay people also, because humility is the essential part of Buddhist practice. In order to thrive or to succeed in Buddhism, you have to have humility. So even the giver has to show humility by taking off their shoes and giving food respectfully, because monks are considered higher, morally higher, because monks keep more precepts than the lay people can. So on the part of the lay people, they have to show humility by being respectful. Monk has to show the humility by accepting things as they are given. Monks are not supposed to ask for anything. We never ask for food. We just walk into the village to show our presence. And if anybody wants to give food, they can do so. If they don't want, we won't be knocking on their doors and ask for anything like that. So this is the interaction between the giver and the taker. We go and accept things if the people want to give us. If we happen to walk through the whole village and nobody gives food, we cannot do anything. We just have to come back empty-handed. Then we might have to move to the next town or next village, because it means we cannot get support from this village. Then we have to go look for some other village for our support. But we cannot ask. We cannot solicitate.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. And as far as humility on the part of the monk, every monk, when they start, they have to start from the bottom up. See, so when you start, you'll be on the lowest rung of the ladder, and you gradually climb up as the time passes on. So this is how we practice humility. We have to pay respect to anybody who ordained before us.